What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC channel dedicated to Juventus. We are also still going to talk about the Azzurri. Nice kit, Cliff. All right, rocking the support for the Azzurri. Hoping for that 9-0. Is it going to happen, buddy? Is it going to happen?
No,
9-0?
it's absolutely not going to happen. No.
Absolutely not going to happen. Well, we're still going to have faith there. We'll see what things end up with. And there's a lot of talk about how this qualification is working for the Azzurri. Many fans feel that the Azzurri could be hard done by, considering the potential to go with only one loss. But meanwhile, when you have Juventus, never a dull moment, all right? And Damien Comolli in the news this past week, speaking a lot about culture, and something that we've talked a lot about on this show for months, dating back into last season, was the culture around Juventus to get back to winning ways. He spoke a lot about it. Is he the right guy? Can he deliver that? All right. We're going to take a look at all that. Take a look at Spalletti. And if we are, in fact, already seeing signs we are going to commit, are some guys already on the outs and some pickups that we could make? We're going to tackle it all, have a lot of fun. We also have the random wheel of hot takes that we are going to spin and then break that down and have a lot of fun. Cliff, are you ready for today's show? Ready to have some fun?
Oh, I'm always ready. Let's have a good time. Ciao Juventini. Ciao Azzurri fans. Let's get into it.
There you go. We're going to have a lot of fun. What's up to everybody that's already joined us? We're live, and for this impromptu live, we're actually on X as well. All right, so we see Dora coming in there from Turkey. Great to see you in here. All right, let's have a lot of fun. We got Skippy, we got Swartwork Music in here. Call back Louise in January. Hold up. Cugino Eddie, great to see you in here. Antonio, Mitch. Let's have some fun, everybody, okay? And, man, never a dull moment. Like I said, there's a lot in the news. Let's get off to the January mercato. That Comolli, he said a lot of things. We're going to take a look at a lot of things he said. It's going to be quiet. We're going to look at if there are some opportunities that will be around there for us to strike. Well, Tariq Muaremovic or Thiago Gabriel, according to Nico Schira, who claims that, yeah, Juve is going to be bringing in players. And all the noise is around midfielders. And you've got a rumor that I just don't buy for a second of Locatelli Fratesi swap. That one's kind of shut down, where everybody claims, look, there are no discussions between clubs, between players, nothing doing. But Tariq Muaremovic or Thiago Gabriel, Juve is looking to bring in. We also hear financially it'll matter, but also there's a lot of people at the back line, especially if Spalletti switches to the back four. But Cliff, how do you feel about those rumors? Would you act on one of these players? Which one would you prefer?
Well, I think of those two options you mentioned, Mramovic, I think makes the most sense just because I think we have a buyback on him, if I'm not mistaken, or some sort of clause that would allow it to be more financially feasible. So for me, I would go for him just because he is in really good form at Sassuolo right now. And I would go for that player because of that, that financial, benefit to it. I'm not really familiar with the other player, to be completely honest. So if I don't know the player and I play FIFA a lot, he's probably not that good. So that's just my take.
Okay, so we've got Wing of Winter saying get both. Look, Tariq Muaremovic, even if it's not January, even if it's at some point like next summer or whatnot, I think that's a move you should definitely make if you're Juve. Especially because you rarely make a move where you have insurance on young guys. Now we have that. There's a 50% sell-on clause that will directly relate what you purchase the player for. You got to make that move. And for me, I'm looking at in the summer, unless things change dramatically, I'm looking to say goodbye to Lloyd Kelly and Federico Gatti if I'm Juve. So I would look to say goodbye to those two guys. I would go for Muremovic and another solid, strong center back if I'm Juve, already with eyes on the summer. What do you think about that, Cliff?
Well, when you say strong center back, I think Bashirotto. That's who I think. So if you tell me who would I
You and
rather
this
have,
farm
him
boy,
or
man, I tell you.
I'll tell you what, you can't beat some good old farm boy strength. That's for sure. If you give me Gatti or him, I would take him. Um, that's a lot of changes to be made in the winter. So I respect the boldness to go with that.
Not in the
I'm a
winter, in the
little bit
summer. I'm saying
Oh,
in
in
the
the summer.
summer.
I'm sorry. In the summer.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Yeah, I agree with you. I do think those two players have to go, and you have to bring in the strong farm boy that is Bashirotto. Also, somebody says, why do we have the Simpsons version of Cliff on the pod? It's just the lighting. I'm so sorry that I'm yellow right now, but that's just how things go.
Looks like the WWE tryout with the tan there. I don't know what's going on with the lighting. It's all good. It's all good. It's
Yeah,
not a
at least it
problem.
doesn't
Don't
look like
worry
a
about it.
hostage video anymore because I have a kit behind me.
There you go. Yeah. No more hostage videos. Yeah, Basketball. I mean, I'm also looking at like some experienced guys. I still wanted a guy like Laporte to come in this past summer,
Yeah,
which I think would have went a long way. When you're talking about Muaremovic or Thiago Gabriel, the nice thing about Muaremovic, besides the financial aspect, is the fact he's a left-footed center back and an
yeah.
actual legit center back. So it's like he ticks all the boxes. He's on the up. He's a young guy. It's like I would make that move. I would make that move in a heartbeat and still look to bring in another strong center back, hopefully one with experience this coming summer. And there are some decent names out there that are also on freeze, right? But they're going to have bigger contracts coming out to them and everything. But Juve's got to dive in and they got to look at some of that stuff, especially with
Mhm.
the financial fair play aspect of things. They might have to come out of their comfort zone when it comes to salaries for certain guys
Yeah.
if they're looking to really build the team and build the club. Speaking of salaries, well, Vlahovic, apparently Juventus has made up the mind. They have the number that they are going to put forward to this guy. It's already being reported. It's going to be 8 to 9 million euros salary is how comfortable Juve is to go in on Vlahovic. Would you offer that up to Dusan Vlahovic? How do you feel about that offer to him?
It's really tough because currently he's our best informed striker. So it's kind of hard to deny him the salary that he wants because he's the best striker that we have at the moment. Um, I think 8 or 9 is really high. I think I would go like 7 with bonuses at max. Like I don't really want to go above 7, to be honest, because as great of a striker as he is, like we're not seeing the production from a stats perspective. I know people are going to yell at me about stats. You look at the player on the field and you dictate the player on that, but you need to have those goals adding up to that number that you're spending on this player. And right now he's not getting those goals at the high enough clip. But if he ends this season, say like I don't know, just say theoretically he ends this season at like 15 in Serie A, like then you can justify that amount, I would say, but that it's very pricey because then you put yourself in a financial hold where you can't use that money to go get players on loan, bring players in on transfers. Like you are kind of holding yourself back a little bit.
8 to 9 million euro salary puts him right back at the highest on the team. It's going to be like 3 million net
Mhm.
less than he's at right now. No, that's like close to
Yeah.
that's close to double what I'd be willing to even consider to get the guy
Mhm.
staying, where I would look at 5.5 million. Like that's probably where I'd be, 5.5 million. Outside of that, no, I'm not into it. I think Juve needs a break. I just think we need to look elsewhere. It hasn't worked out. This whole season has been a funny thing because he was bagging goals, but I said, look at how he bags the goals. Look at the games and where he's bagging things. And I go, it's hard to erase 3 years of things that I found annoying, especially when it came to attitude, when it came to performances, stuff like that. I go, like, it's contract year. I'm not into it. Meanwhile, you got Kenan Yildiz that, are we actually feeling the urgency to re-sign the player? Are we actually feeling this urgency? Because it's stalled out according to a ton of members in the media, outlets, journalists, stalled out. The relationship is good between both. But meanwhile, you got like all these teams like, wait, what's going on here? Like, we might try and sway him over our way. They're not renewing him. He's sitting on 1.7 million euros, which is way too low based on what he means to the team, what he's bringing. The production may have slowed down here for a bit, but many of us still feel that's not actually a Yildiz problem, and it's a system problem and a team problem. But nonetheless, the production's slowing down a little bit right now. Hey, for me, get this thing done. So the media is saying that, this is an urgent matter, despite the fact that Juventus has him on contract until 2029. There's still all these teams lingering around. They want to get this thing renewed. But are they actually feeling the urgency? It doesn't seem that way. Like they're in a panic to get it done. And there's another side to this story that claims that Juve and Yildiz and everybody involved knows it's going to get done. And it's going to get done when they can actually have the financial stability to put that into effect because of the costs. Right now, going back to Vlahovic, 23 million gross is on the books. So they want to wait till that's off. And then that renewal gets finalized and he goes up to where he needs to be around 6. Although the rumors suggest Juve's only gone to 4.5 or 5 million. Which story do you believe, Cliff? Do you believe that Juve has not found the agreement with him? Or do you believe that there is an agreement and we're not hearing a whole bunch about it because they're waiting for that financial period to when the costs are down to give it to him?
I'm willing to guarantee that they gave a verbal commitment to him that they're going to sign him. But like you said, the financials just aren't there yet. And that's another reason why you can't overspend for Vlahovic, just because he's not your best player. So I don't know why it's such a question to sign Yildiz. I would rather shell that money out to him as opposed to Vlahovic. So that's just my take. I think there's probably a verbal agreement in there, and the player's probably keen on doing it. We're keen on making the deal happen. But if you're going to go drop that money on Vlahovic, that's a waste when you have a player who's given every indication that he wants to be with the team, has been performing at a very high level. Give him the money because he's earned it. Vlahovic, as of his time at Juve, has not earned that money.
Yeah, it's for me it's a silly situation. Like, you have this kid right now, you want to shut down any other clubs swaying this guy. You want it wrapped up as soon as possible. So I will look to believe that they have it all sorted out and that it's going to be when the financial period permits and everything's right and they've let him know. But meanwhile, you still have this guy. You still have that time period where he's making less than a lot of names that he shouldn't be making less than. A lot of names. Practically everybody. Filip Kostic makes more. Okay?
Wait. To that point, I did call Filip Kostic man of the match on his birthday. I wanted to shout that out
Cliff,
on the stream.
Stop it. Okay, stop it. Weston McKennie making more. Rugani making more. João Mario making more. Digre, Thuram, Lloyd Kelly making more. Everybody. Gatti, Cole Miners, Loca,
Insolio?
Chico Conceição, Openda, David. Everybody's making more. All those names making more than Kenan Yildiz.
Thiago
Even
Motta
Milik
making
is making slightly more. Even Milik is making slightly more.
that's
They got to
crazy.
sort it out, and they got to get the job done when it comes to Yildiz, regardless of what they want to do. Now, here's the fear that many fans have been vocal about and have been talking about, is that maybe Juve isn't feeling an urgency because maybe Juve is fine to sell and to collect all that capital in the summer. Hey, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. But I am going to remain in the position hoping that Juve actually does have ambition, actually does care about squad building, and realizes this is the first time in a long time you've got your hands on a guy with that potential and he's in your house right now, that they would look to build around this piece. So I'm going to just say that. But those fears are natural when you have this situation. And in the background, we just had a birthday of Paulo Dybala yesterday. Tanti auguri go out to Palito. But he was another guy, and he was on a list of players that Juve has played this game with before when it comes to contract time. Different faces, different management, but always playing games. So that fear is kind of like a PTSD thing for Juve fans too. We'll see what happens with Kenan Yildiz. We'll keep things going in January too. João Mario, apparently Juve will be looking at offers and looking to say goodbye in January. Are you stocking up on that one? Are you buying that, Cliff? What do you think is the right call? By the way, everybody, get those likes up. And if you're on X right now tuning into this live, make sure you head over to YouTube and subscribe, because not all the shows that we have are going to be multi-stream. So just that note, you guys, get the likes up and make sure you head over to YouTube and subscribe still. Cliff, what do you think about João Mario? Goodbye in January.
Okay, I'm happy you said that because I was gonna say I totally forgot the question. I think it's way too soon to look to get rid of him. We need to see what we have in him. I've had my reservations about him as a player. I've made that very known. I think he does very good going forward as a counter-attacking wingback. And he shows some prowess in terms of, pushing the pace forward on the counter. I still see some issues with his decision making in the final play. When you have those guys to your right and left making that quick decision of who to play the ball to, take it yourself. So I want to continue to see that development, because you did give a great young player in Alberto Costa away for this player. So I want to see some, investment in him. I want to see him get a little bit of playing time. I want to see more of what we have in him, because we're very thin at the fullback position. So I want to see him be utilized a little bit more. And then if we're, 6, 8 months down the road and we're still not seeing much from him in terms of production, then we could look to, offload him. But, you have, like you said, with Yildiz, you have this player in your house. You want to see what you have out of him before you just look to loan him or transfer him or whatever it is. Use the players you have at your disposal, because you never know what Spalletti could get out of them.
Yeah. We got Adam saying that he's redundant if Chico and Jagrova will take his minutes along with David and Openda. I'm not sure what that is in reference to. Along
Hopefully
with
not
David and
Yildiz.
Openda, completely different positions that we're looking at here. But if you're talking about João Mario, I said this when the move came. I still didn't like saying goodbye to Alberto Costa, and I thought that was just strange. You're taking, I think we took like 600 or 700K for capital on that young player, promising player. He wasn't by any means established. He was still very green. We all know that. That's fine. But if you're looking at João Mario, okay, this guy came in to be the guy that's got the experience, that's going to be able to help and assist things. Then you end up finding out in Tudor leaving, and we'll get to comments made by coaches, because Comolli, holy smokes, man, he laid down a lot of lines this past week. But then you have Tudor coming in like, I didn't want this guy. So it's like, it's so frustrating for me that we keep making the same errors despite who comes in. And Comolli, this was another sign that Giuntoli had even with Allegri. And Giuntoli took a lot of heat for us being in first place, battling, and in that Winter Mercato did nothing. He brought in like, who the hell was it? Alcaraz. He brought in Alcaraz. And everybody was like, dude, what the hell? And we crumbled down the line, and it became this thing where we weren't working. Giuntoli wasn't working with Max, etc. Now all of a sudden, you have a similar thing where it was like Comolli, this was never really his guy, yet we still went that route, and we said goodbye to young pieces for nothing, and here you go. Now you've got a team that's like going into Spalletti now, and who knows what the hell's going to happen, but it's like, whoever the hell's there, can we get on the same page and get the job done? So João Mario apparently never making sense from the get-go. Well, he was supposed to be the experienced guy ahead of Alberto Costa. And now you have a second coach coming in that also apparently has no faith in getting this guy done. Culture. Can DC bring back the culture? He spoke a lot about culture. My God, recruitment is a key element to that. We will get to all that though. But João Mario, it seems a little bit harsh. I'd like to at least see him get some minutes, to Cliff's point, before we can actually like pull the trigger. People are saying god awful defensively. You know what? So is Cambiasso. But the job gets done. What are you looking for from there? If you're going to play 3 men at the back, that's the whole point of having a little bit of more offensive prowess in your wingbacks. But if you're going to go 4-man backline, okay. But even Cambiasso played in a 4-man backline and held his own. I mean, what do you want out of those positions? That's where it's got to come down to. But you got to stop recruiting haphazardly. Now, speaking of January, Adzich or Miretti tipped off that one of these players, maybe both, on the move in January. I'm not buying the Miretti one. Okay. We'll talk about why. But Adzich, would it be the right move to send him on loan in January, Cliff?
With this current team, no. Because we need the rotation. We need those players available. We need people who can fill in. And with our luck, if, hopefully nobody gets injured, but we've had some bad luck with injuries throughout the season so far, on and off injuries. So I think you need to keep Adzich from that sense. If you bring someone in, an experienced center mid with a little bit more experience under their belt, I think then you look to loan Adzich, but it needs to be the right situation where he's going to be playing. It can't be a team where, he might get minutes, he might not. He needs to be like day in and day out starting for that team. Say it's like even just, humor me here, but a Sassuolo. If it's like, he's guaranteed minutes at a Sassuolo and he's going to get to play week in, week out, that would be a situation where, okay, I would loan him out if we have someone coming in. To your point about Miretti, no shot. I think he's going to thrive underneath Spalletti, and I don't think he's keen on getting rid of him.
So we can work Adzich in a move for Berardi, is what you're thinking eventually, and send him to.
Oh, don't get me excited! Okay. Don't get me excited. I love Berardi.
I'm just playing the game that media is going to touch on at some point because Berardi is going to be the eternal link to Juventus.
Yeah.
Adzich on a loan in January would really depend to me how, it would be depending on how this next set of matches goes and leading into that winter break. If we see something building up here where he can get a decent amount of minutes, I'd rather keep him around. But consistent minutes and in the top flight would be huge for Adzich and even us. And right now it hasn't been enough for him. And it wasn't enough even when he showed some sparks early on. So for me, a loan probably makes the most sense. Now, the second player, Miretti. A lot has come out in the news during this international break about this change of setups, going to a 4-man backline, but also a change at the director in the midfield, and that being Miretti, playing ahead of the defense. Cliff, would you do it? Do you think it's the right call? Do you think he'll thrive there?
Yeah, I think he has always struck me more as a progressive player going forward, going into the final third. Of the previous players we had, obviously we talked about the trio of Miretti, Rovella, and Fagioli. I always thought Fagioli was the most attacking minded of those three, but I could see Miretti becoming that player who's going to be kind of the third in that potential triangle where he's more, yeah, exactly. Don't forget to like and subscribe, Juventini. I think he would be really good in that final triangle up top, kind of pushing forward. I don't want him to get too advanced. I want him to kind of be on right in the edge of the box, kind of. I want him to be involved in the final third, but obviously be able to track back on a counter. But I like Miretti. I like him a lot. I think he's been a bit hard done with previous managers. I think he's very talented. I know our boy Lucci loves him. So I will make Lucci happy and say that I think he's going to thrive under Spalletti. And I think he'll fit very well as the more attacking-minded midfielder.
Huh. So, Pjanic, we saw Pjanic at Continassa and everybody, oh man. I love the news that they were posted. There is no chance of Pjanic coming back, but I'll tell you what, I'd take him for set pieces alone, okay? Mm-hmm. So, obviously, Adzich, touching on, where will Locatelli play? And Skippy saying, Locatelli plays too deep for Spalletti. When it comes to Miretti, I have been vocal about getting this guy in the middle of the pitch for Juve right now. Getting him in there, getting him mixed in, and getting some minutes. However, I don't believe he needs to play ahead of the defense. And I don't think he'll thrive there. And I don't think there's enough steel in him to handle the assistance that would be required in that spot for this team anyways. If I'm looking at the issues at Juve, and the way my mind works in getting Miretti in there and wanting to see him in there, it's for a completely different set of reasons. It's, for me, saying that Locatelli needs to get out of that spot, Miretti needs to go into it. I think we're actually not locked in on where the problem lies. And I think you're looking at it's not where the actual issue lies. It's slightly ahead of that. What Miretti does so effectively, that is massive, is finding the pockets just ahead of the midfield and just behind the attackers. He is so deadly. Even before we sent him on loan, he was phenomenal at that. And we were all pissed because he couldn't find that final product, that final pass, that shot. If he found that, he would have never been sent away. Period. He did much better with the end product at Genoa on that loan. Credit to him. But he needs to come in and not be put ahead of the defense. He needs to be ahead of Loca and linking up the rest. That will produce more freedom for Yildiz, for Chico, for Zhigrova, whenever the guy gets fully fit and able to lock in there on minutes. That's where I'm looking at Miretti coming in. And I honestly don't think he will be revolutionary for us ahead of the defense. I really don't.
I think you put it way better than I did, because that you kind of made the point that I was trying to get at, is he's not a true attacking mid. He's like like you have the three-man diamond, you have Loca as the DM, you have Thuram as the box-to-box, and you have Miretti as the link-up play guy who's going to, distribute and kind of get things moving towards the attack, but he is not going to be the final attacking mid. So I think you said it way more eloquently than I ever could. So thank you for verbalizing that the way you did.
All good, man. But we seem on the same page. I think if you're looking to use Miretti, that would be the manner I would do it. Three-man midfield, for sure with this team. How you divvy it up? It could be a 4-2-3-1 with Miretti making the top point and Thuram, Locatelli staying back. If you go in a four-man backline, Cope Miners goes back into the middle.
Nobody wants that.
Or do you keep him at left center back in a two-man pairing? Hey, Spalletti, I'll leave that one to you, okay? I'll leave that baby to you. But Miretti, I don't know. In that role ahead of the defense, want a little bit more steel. Now Locatelli. Should Juve move on from Locatelli?
No.
Putting you right on
Simple.
the spot. Boom. No?
Simple. Yeah, simple. No, because if you look at matches, people can say, "Oh, he's not the best defender. He's not the best this," but there's something that you can always say when we're getting countered and people are coming at us at the box. He's always the last man to jump into the goal to dive and make a last-ditch tackle. He is that guy who will put in that extra bit of effort from the back, and he slots in almost as a an extra defender when we're being pressed by a team. I think you can't replace his productivity from a passing perspective out of the back. I think he completes that midfield. And obviously, we're not saying he's the best player in the world, but for what Juve needs right now, he fits well into our system. He fits well in that DM position, and he helps link up that play out of the back. And sometimes, on occasion, he'll find a really good long ball. So I think he's that type of player that we really need back there. Okay, let's not get crazy, Cugino Eddie. He's not our best player this season.
I'd say
That's
he's
an
most
insane statement.
consistent.
If you want to say most consistent, that's fair, but he's not easily our best player this season.
He's up
I
there.
think it's I think
Who's
it's
our best
Yildiz.
players this season?
Yildiz.
Okay, but the consistency isn't there, whether it's system or player. Consistency is a big part of it. Loca's right up there with him.
But to say it's not even close, I think that's the thing that gets me. It's like you can't say he's the best player. And it's not
Yeah,
even close
not
because
not that it's not even close. Yeah, fair.
because there's
Fair
plenty of
point.
guys up there who you could say have played very well this. You could make an argument Di Gregorio has played very well this season. He's been one of our best players. So that's the only thing that I would argue on that.
There's a lot
But
of people that'll fight you on Di Gregorio, that's for sure. Some people want him out.
come and fight me on it. Come and fight me on it. The man is a great goalkeeper. I don't want to hear any slander on my boy. But
I,
yeah, I think Locatelli is crucial to this team.
Here's my thing. I'm kind of caught on this one with Loca, okay? And everybody knows that I always thought he gets way too much hate. Locatelli, for me, I have no problem with Juve looking to make an upgrade. I have no problem with that. I still think he's got a spot, even in rotation, would be huge to have a guy like Locatelli come off the bench for Juve. And that's the levels we need to get to. If that guy is where you stand as far as your bench players, that's good. That would be a good thing for Juve because we've gone many years by having players on the bench that we don't even want to see on the pitch. So that would be something I'd look at. Make your upgrade. Keep this guy around because he's still an asset. However, if the money's right and you can make some make some money, make an upgrade, okay, that's fine. But you know how I feel, everybody. 1-for-1's moves suck. 1-for-1 moves suck. Juve needs to find a way where they set a level for at least depth. And if you're making minimal on capital, I'd rather look elsewhere, get your capital elsewhere, make your upgrades. Lobotka's name thrown around now that Spalletti's there. And he's got an unknown situation around his contract. Would you want Lobotka, Cliff?
My gut says no, even though he's been good at Napoli. My gut just says no. I feel like the switch from Conte to Spalletti would make a difference. I think Conte
Lobotka was
just.
big under Spalletti in that Scudetto
I know.
winning
I know
season.
he was. I know he was. But I think in this current Juve team, I don't know. I just can't see it. My gut just says no, but my gut could be wrong. Who knows? That's just what I'm thinking.
I'll tell you what, man. Lobotka he's a good midfielder.
He
He
is.
had better seasons before. It's kind of slowing down, but he is a good midfielder. But there is no, they're like the same player.
Hmm.
And I always felt, I'm like, man, you have a Lobotka for Christ's sake. There's
Yeah.
nothing game-breaking, game-changing Lobotka does that Locatelli doesn't. That's why for me, when people say Loca is the problem, you're looking
Yeah,
at the
no.
wrong problem because the problem is ahead of Locatelli.
Hmm.
The problem is ahead of Locatelli. Locatelli's moving the ball. Oh, it's always sideways. If that's what presents itself to our guy,
Hmm.
based on our system, how we're playing, that's what he takes. When the through ball's there, he's sending the through ball.
Yeah. The problem
The
is nobody
thing
commands it from the middle.
is that the problem is ahead of that. He'll move the ball wherever the hell you want the ball moved, but Lobotka does the same
Hmm.
thing. If he's got to move it out to the side, he moves it out to the side. If the plays are up there ahead, he'll do it. it's hilarious to me that everyone's thinking the savior is pretty much a very similar player to what you already have. That tells me, if we're thinking that way, the problem ain't actually there. The problem ain't actually there. But Spalletti, are we going to lock in and whatnot? Hey, we'll wait and see. But Locatelli's always been one of those guys that's taken a lot of heat because everybody says he just isn't good enough. He's not the Juve standard. But I challenge that with going back, way back in the day, and looking at some of the guys that were big parts of Juve sides. That's not the issue. The issue for me is the star players. We don't have the star power right now. We're waiting. And that's the problem that goes into building young squads. And that's why it's not really a Juve way. And everybody says Juve's got to get all these young guys in 4 or 5 years. Listen, that's part of it. But you still need star power. Juve should never be waiting 4 or 5 years. Like the way they used to do it, you had your guys pulling the weight. And then you'd add your young pieces and they would mix in and blend into the group, an already strong, solidified group. If you're doing that, okay, if you're already just going straight to the young guys, we have an average age 25 years old team. Yeah, guess what? Your stars aren't ready. And then you're stuck. We got to sort that part out. Now we're waiting. Yildiz is one of the guys we are waiting for. We'll see. Speaking of Juve, Cabal and Kelly are back. They will be full participants in group training starting tomorrow. That is great news for Spalletti. Whether we commit to Spalletti or not, hey, let's see, okay? Let's see. Quote of the week goes to the main man, DC, Comolli, all right? Actually, probably had a couple of them. We're Juve. There is no alternative to winning. Holy shit. Somebody finally said it. Thank you. Thank you. Years of having to hear top fours are objective. Top fours where we go. Top 4 FC, my ass. Fangulo. Good for him. The second quote of the week. The first thing I think about when asked, what do you think about? First thing I think about is when we win our 39th Scudetto. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss, buddy. Okay, quote of the weeks. They're going to DC. However, he said a lot of other things that, I want to go all in for you, DC, but then you kind of bring me right back down, okay? So he spent a lot of time talking about culture. We'll get into the other things he said, but culture. We've spoken so much about culture. Me specifically, when I saw the breakdown coming last year with Malta, Juntli, all this, I said flat out, you need a shift, a change from the top, period. Everybody at the top needs Ferraro, get the hell out of there. Scanavino out. El can just stay back there, worry about the money, get the right people in place. Is Comolli the right person? Time will tell. We'll wait and see, okay? But culture is huge. And he's like, I asked everyone that comes around. I asked Matuidi. I asked Trezeguet. What is Juve's DNA? Winning. They had the same answer. Winning is Juve's DNA. But listen, you could create a winning culture, which is what we always had. But you can't just say winning. There's much more to that, to establishing that culture. But he is spending, he says 30% at looking at the culture right now at this club. These are all positives. I love hearing that because it's something that nobody's touched on forever, and we've been shouting it from the rooftops. Okay? Culture. I hope he can do it. I hope he's the right guy. He's onto something because it hasn't been spoken about for a long time at this club, and it needs to be. The culture. How do you think about him honing in on that? And what do you see? Because you can't just say winning. You need to establish the culture that plays into getting you to be a winning side. But what do you think are things that kind of need to be changed? How do you groom a culture? How do you bring that back to Juve? The crest?
It's a great question, Al. Also, I fixed the Simpsons thing, so I'm not all yellow anymore. So everybody
Nice.
will be happy. Um, so to that question, I think, like you said, you can say all you want, we want to win. Of course, everybody wants to win, but what do you put into place? What sorts of, systems do you put in place to put yourself in a position to win consistently? That's what Juve did for a decade, between, all the 2010s when we won all of the trophies. People seem to forget. Um, it's when you recruit the proper players, like you went going back to what you said about recruitment. If you want to bring in the right players who are going to bring the right mentality and culture, that's going to set the tone for your young players, for the next gen, for the staff. Like, it's every phase of the game. You need your staff to be locked in. You need your players to be locked in. You need to remove distractions from the locker room. You need to just, you want to keep things as professional and tightened and buttoned up as possible so that you can focus on the results. Because if everything off the pitch is in order, everything on the pitch will fall into place, and that will lead to a winning culture. But like you said, when I hear these words of "we must win," there's no more of this top four talk. I love hearing that because it shows me that there's ambition. Before it seemed like it was more a mark, like we've talked about this when the shield changed, the crest and all of that, it became a marketing club. Seems like Comolli's trying to set things right and get things back to a winning club, a winning mentality, a sporting project, as opposed to just a marketing project. Um, so I like to see the direction that we're going. I think the words Comolli is speaking is resonating with me.
And to the point of Mitch here, words, Comolli, words, prove it. And that's the
Hmm.
big thing. If you're going to establish culture, you got to walk the walk. You could talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. You got to walk the walk. And you got to do it day in, day out. That's how you get it done. But he's starting it by acknowledging. So when you want to establish culture, you acknowledge first off where you're at. He's acknowledged Juve, their history and their DNA. Acknowledgement, number one. Number two, laying it on the line. The words, the speech. Winning. There is no alternative to winning at Juve. He has mentioned nothing to the tune of top four and just qualifying for champion. No. Boom. He laid it out for everybody. He said Elkan's goal is to make this team financially sustainable. He said that. My goal is to make this team win again. Hot damn, I like it. Okay?
Yeah.
I like it. But again, he's got to push forward. He's got to I like what he's done with the fear of failure. You have to accept that fear at Juve. You have to accept it. There has been incredibly strong sides at Juventus in their past that didn't win a lick,
Hmm.
and they were strong teams. This team has broken down at key intervals over the past years that we've been without a Scudetto and whatnot. They've broken down. We talked about that one. We were number one. We were first going into January, completely crumbled at that point. Fear of failure needs to be accepted. You can't hide from
Hmm.
it. You can't lower your standards. You can't bring the objective down and move that mark because you're worried about these guys, these players, how they feel mentally breaking out. No, it's all BS. You can't have that fear. They have to accept it. Guess what? You have to win here. If you don't, you've failed. There is no participation ribbons. There is no pat on the back. Hey, you had a good season. No, you didn't have a good season. We must win. And those guys that are in-house, that are willing to accept that and face that head on, those are the guys cut to wear the cloth.
Give me
And that's how
goosebumps,
you
Al.
start.
Shit.
What?
Shit, I'm ready to run through a wall for you, man. You're giving me goosebumps.
That's how it's got to be. That's how it's
Yeah.
got to be at Juve. Accept
Yeah.
the fear of failure, embrace it, and fucking let's go. So
Yeah.
Comolli, credit to him, saying the right things. But then He gets into a whole lot of Toulouse thing, and then I'm like, dude, ease up on the Toulouse thing. Is very minimal success you had with Toulouse, okay? And is that the bar? Like, easy. Pump the brakes on the Toulouse thing. I know you were there for probably the longest stint of any of the clubs that you've been at, whatever, but like, pump the brakes, Comolli. Pump the brakes, man. And then he gets into the data. You know where I go with the
I
data.
hated it. I hated it
Oh
so
my
much.
God.
He was
The
like, "Oh,
data,
we
this,
shouldn't do
data,
crosses."
that. Listen, man. I don't need the fucking scientist from the Simpsons here, okay? All right? I need a legit guy that's going to restore the culture. So you said a lot of the right things. We need actions, okay? He did say something that's also very interesting about coaches. And I can't help but feel it was a little bit of a dig at Tudor. Coaches say a lot of things when they start. And then when things go bad, I am the one that reminds them of what they actually said in the beginning. And that's why I put their words right there in the contract. Can't help but feel maybe a little bit of a dig at Tudor there for some of the things said after. But nonetheless, Comolli, will he restore the culture? Do you believe he is the right man to lead the charge right now? Cliff, you're on the spot.
At the moment, he has to be. We don't have anybody else, so he needs to take that responsibility and he needs to be that guy. I'm waiting to see what this winter mercato has in store. I want to see how they manage this winter transfer window and see kind of how they approach it. And then I'll be able to kind of make a little bit more of a assumption of kind of where their heads are at. Like if they make a big splashy move and they get a player that everybody loves and everybody's up in arms and excited about, then okay, like we can kind of judge that and be like, okay, maybe they're really serious about making a push. Or if they're like, oh, we're gonna re-sign Thiago Giallo for 5 million, bring him back, then we're like, okay, there's no ambition. Um, so obviously that's a joke. I don't think we're gonna do that. But you
We
guys
got to
get
see
where
him
I'm
walk the
going.
walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I'm still skeptical. Great
hmm
words, saying all the right things. Can he back it up consistently and follow up? Time will tell. Okay, I'm still skeptical, but some good stuff there from Comolli. Now, we are going to talk about the Azzurri. We are going to get into, the 9-0 victory that's about to come today for the lads. But we do have a list of hot takes, okay? We got a list of hot takes. Should we
Okay.
just randomly select a few and go back and forth before the Azzurri talk? I think so.
hmm Let's do
Let's
it.
do this. I've got 20. I've got a list of 20 right now. We're going to go
20.
back and forth. Cliff, give me a number between 1 and 20. That's going to be your hot take to tackle first. And we're just going to rifle them out. By the way,
I'm gonna
everybody,
go
get the
3.
likes up while Cliff thinks about this number. Also, if you're tuning in on X, not all our shows are multi-stream. Make sure you head over to YouTube and subscribe, okay? And by the way, kit giveaways. We've got the Yildiz home kit right now open to all subscribers. And then our Legends, the 2012 black kit with Pirlo on the back, all right? So let's get those likes up, everybody. Now, Cliff, give me a number.
Um, 3.
Number 3, Spalletti's new Juve looks suspiciously like Allegri's Juve, just with better press conferences. Oh, people saying there's not going to be much change, I would assume, is what they're going to get out of this, and it just all looks the same.
What do you want me to say? True or false? Or
Well, tackle it. What do you think? Do you see any? There are
no.
numbers statistically in terms of passing, in terms of more direct play. There are numbers that are hinting to that. Do you feel that it's
No.
better on the pitch?
I think it's going to be better on the pitch. I think we've seen signs of it. Like you see the mentality and like just the thought processes of both the managers are completely different. They have different philosophies. So I do think we're going to see completely different Juve from Spalletti as opposed to Allegri because we know how pragmatic he was. And Spalletti's way more forward thinking and likes to, 1-2 quick passing. So I think we'll see more pace to play under Spalletti. We've talked about how he loves how the ball moves elegantly across the grass and how he likes it to have some pace to it. So I think there will be a difference in how we move the ball.
The game, by the way, I see Forza Juve Eric asking about the Azzurri game. It's in Italy. It is at the San Siro today. So there are it's definitely not park the bus style. You could see Spalletti is not wanting to play park the bus style. There are some passing indicators there that we want to play in a more forward-thinking manner. So I would say I have to disagree with that take, that particular one that's floating around out there. No, I don't think all things are the same. I don't think everything was completely the same with Tudor, but Tudor was probably closer to a very Allegri-esque approach than Spalletti is or will be. I would think. Okay. Now for me, I'm gonna take Cliff. Give me a number for me. Any number, 1 to 20. 10. ADP, baby. Cambiasso is the only player on Juve that actually fits modern football. What? Oh my God. Okay. With all due respect to where these are pulled from, okay? Absolutely not. Okay? The whole modern football thing, I laugh at. Okay? The game has not fucking changed, everybody, okay? The game is not different than fucking way back when. It's
150 years ago.
It's the exact same game. Okay? It is the exact same game. Cambiasso is a utility player. He's a versatile player. He is not the only one that fits modern football. And modern football, Jesus, it's the same damn game we were playing. So I strongly disagree that he is the only player that would fit a modern football. No, absolutely not. Cliff, pick another number.
Let's go 14.
Sule should never have been sold by Juventus.
Yes.
And he is a player we are desperately missing right now.
Correct. That's it. That's it. He's a Dybala regen. That's all I want to say.
I disagree with it. I actually have no problems with him still not being here, and the fact that we sold him there, I have no problems with it. Yeah. I don't know, man. I swear. Okay, you might have to cover your ears. I don't know. You seem to really be big on Sule, but I'm going to say this: this guy feeds off. He's a bottom feeder.
Oh,
he's a bottom feeder. You rarely will see him do well in bigger games against good teams. He's usually just picking off bottom feeders.
You know what I will say, though? If you kept him on this team, I agree with you in this sense. You would have had two very similar players in terms of their play style with him and Yildiz, because they're not both speedy wingers. They're more creative wingers. And Chico actually complements Yildiz on the other side much better than if you had a Sule and a Yildiz. So I'll say from that perspective, it's better.
Man. Now, the follow-up, I love the follow-up from TX Juventino. Would you take him for the Azzurri, though?
Yes.
I might.
Yes.
I might, to be honest.
Over Politano? Yeah.
I mean, well, fuck, if the bar's down here. I mean, sure.
Let's put Berardi there.
We will talk about Chiesa. Swarit, I'm going to tell you right now, earmuffs, buddy. Earmuffs, because we are going to talk about Chiesa, so just take it easy. Another number. Throw me another number.
1.
Oh.
Ah, shit.
Locatelli has peaked, isn't high enough for a Scudetto winning midfield. I say BS. Of course he could play on a Scudetto winning team. We just talked about Lobotka and how they're similar players. Lobotka was on Scudetto winning sides, playing the exact same style, the exact same way. So, yes, he is a capable midfielder for a Scudetto winning side. That's my answer to that one. Agree, disagree with me, Cliff?
What did it say? Has he peaked? I think Locatelli's peaked.
Oh, sure. I mean, peaked, but it's good enough for a Scudetto winning midfield for sure. Yeah,
you could win a Scudetto with a midfielder of his quality if you surround him with the right players. 100%.
Yep. Boom. We got plenty more, but we got to talk Azzurri because it looks like this Chiesa thing is taking off now. So let's get to the Azzurri.
Wow, okay.
Chiesa, rejected the call from the Azzurri. Rejected the call from the Azzurri, according to Gattuso. What a mutt.
Whoa.
What a mutt.
Whoa.
I'll
That's
say
crazy.
it. What a mutt. Dude. Okay, it's time to get real. I'm going to get real, okay, with this Chiesa thing. This is me. I fought the fight for Chiesa for a little while, and then I started to turn. Then I started to turn with Juve. And I'll remind everybody of when I started to turn. It was when we waited. We gave him extra long time to recover, to make sure that he was good to go, that there would be no issues. We wanted everything to be great for Chiesa. He comes back. There's hiccups, whatever, then he gets going. He has a season. Finally, being able to play through a season. He's hot out of the start and disappears for months. And then picks up production again late in the season. And this guy in his head thought every fucking team across the world was coming after me. I'm the man. Only to find that you had fuck all for offers and nobody wanted to give you the money that you were demanding. From who? From the team who waited patiently, who gave you that first bigger contract, gave you the opportunity to be at a big club, to showcase your talents and do all that. And you were so quick to turn around and say, see you later. You have always been on a redemption tour. That is where you were at, and you weren't willing to acknowledge it while with us. And we wanted to pay you accordingly and set something up. Now this guy is still, I think he is detached from reality. Because he's like, are you above serving for the country and going and assisting and helping that? Or are you actually, in fact, chicken shit about going there and you still have doubts in your ability? Because maybe that move there makes you doubt your ability. You won Player of the Month there. You're on the up on a redemption tour, but then you turn down the Azzurri. That's shitty, man. That's fucking shitty. And I hope he never gets the call again. That's me. Cliff.
I did walk away for a second when I heard that, when somebody said he was useless. Let's be clear. Chiesa is a phenomenal player. When he was at Juve, I thought he was on the track to be a world-class winger. Just clearly from his ability on the ball, his work rate. You don't see a lot of work rate from wingers like him. After he got injured, I think he was very hard done under Allegri. He never found his form under Allegri. I think it would have been different if he had this team with Spalletti. Obviously, we won't know because Kenan is now our man at the left wing position. You don't deny an opportunity to play for your national team. You do not turn that down. I've always fought the fight for Chiesa. Hearing this is extremely disheartening because I love the player. I've loved that he's found form at Liverpool. I wish he never went to England because they never appreciated him like we appreciated him. But when your national team gives you the honor and the privilege to play for it, you do not say no. So I wish Fede the best. I hope he does well. But I hope he doesn't get another call up because you don't disrespect the national team of your country like that. And that's how I feel.
Yeah, you should never do that. It's brutal. And I mean, Buffon laid it on the line, and I can't help but feel his words were directed specifically at Federico Chiesa. It's a shitty thing to do. It's absolutely stupid. And I can't help but feel like this guy now, to me, tells me that Juve made the right call back when they made that call to say goodbye, because of the fact that this guy obviously, clearly, only cares about Fede Chiesa. And I don't want guys like that at Juve. And I'll be that blunt about it. Mm-hmm. Loved the player for his time there. Was always hoping the best. Backed him until I started to see that turn where he was just unrealistic. in where he was at in his career. And I think maybe he's unrealistic right now. But that's a dog shit thing to do for the Azzurri. Now, speaking of the Azzurri, talk's all the same as we go into this match against Norway, needing a 9-0 victory. Okay, so we're probably staring down the barrel of a playoff. Okay? So, the main question around this all, and we'll get it from the chat and everything, do you guys believe that it is... Do you feel Italy is hard done by based on the qualification process? Is the qualification process FIFA is applying fair? Should it be altered? How do you feel about that first before we get into everything? Because people are talking about other conferences, the teams that are qualifying, the numbers, and it feels rough that second team in this group's going to playoff. What do you think, Cliff?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think it's a fair question. And I could see people saying, oh, don't cry about it. But I do think, and I'm not going to just cry about, the process, but I will say somebody made a really good point. I think it was Brazil lost a handful of matches and they're still on track to qualify for the World Cup. Italy loses, one match in their qualifying and they're out.
Yeah.
It seems a little bit ridiculous. I don't, isn't it shouldn't it be the best two teams in each, division or conference or whatever you want to say group makes it to the World Cup? It seems to make sense to do it that way. I know they've opened up the amount of teams that are in the World Cup. I don't see why Italy should be left out for losing one match. They beat everybody else. So it does seem a little bit far-fetched to me that we lose one match and we're having to go to a playoff when we beat every team fairly comfortably.
It's a rough go. I mean, that's just one aspect of it, is that you can still have a strong campaign, and the way it's marked there is you're staring down the barrel of a playoff. And some will say that really doesn't matter because Norway's side, no disrespect to them, Italy should have got the job done and still been in a position to qualify first out of that group. Okay, I get that, but the majority of the stronger sides come from Europe.
Let's be clear. Yeah.
So, that's just a fact. I mean, that's not being arrogant. That's not being, that's just being straight up.
It's Europe and South America. Traditionally, that's what it's been. It's been Europe and South America, and we're seeing other countries getting more prominent in world football.
Even if you want to talk about South America, there are some nations that do well, that are good, that even some of the nations that qualify out of South America are pretty weak. Okay?
Yeah.
You have some, and of course it's a World Cup, but you have some continents that produce very little, that has effect, that make deeper runs, that actually, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The Europe qualification process, maybe Europe needs some more spots. Maybe they need to work this out. Maybe they need to do something in terms of working with the rankings, the actual ranking systems, and do something. Maybe. But because here's the thing. If you're going to tell me, no, it's a playoff, this is the way, this is fine. Okay, that's great. That's fine. But how on earth do these playoffs now apply? You have teams. You have 4 pots of 4 teams. So Italy's going to be in pot 1, Italy, Turkey, Ukraine, Poland. Pot 2, Hungary, Scotland, Czechia, Slovakia. Pot 3, Albania, North Macedonia, Kosovo, Bosnia. Pot 4, Wales, Sweden, Romania, Northern Ireland, right? And then when you look at this and you look at some of their numbers through qualification, and it's like Sweden is 0 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses. Why the hell are they in a playoff?
Yeah, that's the big question.
You got to win 2 playoff games now to actually make the World Cup. Why on earth are they in that? Why on earth would they be in it? The Azzurri have 18 points going into this game. Sweden's got 1. How on earth? What is this? What am I even looking at? Czechia 13 points. Okay, great. Albania 14 points. That's cool. You know, you want to have you can't spare more points for teams that are high. You have some teams in second place that have way more than Switzerland, who leads their group, or Germany, who leads their group. Tell me there's something not fucked up with the qualification.
I mean,
Switzerland has
in every other
13 points right now. Italy's at 18 and has to go into a playoff, but they're not top in their group. Germany has 12 points, top in their group. Tell me there's not something a little fucked up there. Luck of the draw is kind of shitty when you're looking at the big scale of things, right?
I just thought of an idea. Why don't they do it like Champions League, and why don't they do it by like, top 20 teams make it or whatever, and they just do a round robin and they go on points?
I don't know. Denmark tops their group 11 points. Scotland's second 10 there. I don't know, man. I don't know what the solution is, but I can tell you this one's kind of harsh, right? But Italy's probably staring down the barrel of a third straight playoff to get into the World Cup tournament. So 4 pots, you're going to draw your first, and then you got to win the second. Will the Azzurri qualify for the World Cup? Put you on the spot, man. What did you think about that last game against Moldova? How do you feel about them in general? Are you confident or not that they go through here?
I'm confident we go through. I'm going to go out and say it. I'm going to go for it and just say I'm very confident. And I think we can do it, especially if everybody is healthy at the time of our playoff. I have a lot more faith in this team against, I don't know, say like last time we had North Macedonia. I had no confidence going into that game. I felt very little confidence going into that match, the way we were going. This match, whoever the opponent is, I feel like Gattuso will have this team ready. Say what you want about, player quality or whatever. Gattuso will have these men ready to fight for their country and lay it out on the line. Because I think that's what Gattuso instills in his players. And I think that's what this team, this Azzurri team, is needed. Passion, grit, and going back to the old ways of playing.
I believe Italy's qualifying. They'll get through. They're going to get in there. I'm looking at the teams that are in there. There's honestly a couple sides that I would be concerned with, just because of historically, the Azzurri have always struggled with that style of game, and it's a more physical game. But I don't think that we're going to actually line up with those sides. So I'm actually quite confident. I think Gattuso will at least have them ready to go for all the reasons you touched on. This Norway game, this is a big one, though, because this is the blemish. This is the one that's kind of kicked everything off. Kicked off the sacking of our guy now at Juve, Spalletti. Kicked off that one. Kicked off the doubts. Kicked off everything like, oh my God, we're already in a bad situation, a bad spot. And then Norway's just continued to run roughshod on everybody they faced in that group, which is why you need such a drastic goal differential, because we were struggling for goals. That's never been the Azzurri's game. It's never been Italy's style. You come out and get the job done against Norway here, that's big, big stuff mentally for this group going into a playoff. You might not get your goal differentials. Make no mistake about it, this game is a big one for the Azzurri. Big. Because you're probably, Jesus Christ. When have the Azzurri scored 9 goals in a game, like, historically, ever? Okay? Like, ever.
Yeah.
You win this game. You give them the only blemish. They gave you one blemish. You didn't conquer them on goals, but guess what? That's a huge piece of motivation right there to go the rest of the way. And it was a game that first game was ugly from the Azzurri. When Norway beat us, oh my God. It could have been so much worse. That game was ugly from all aspects. this is a big one for the Azzurri. So me saying right now that I have confidence that they will qualify, they will go through right now where they sit. If we win today, I'd go as far to say 99.9% sure the Azzurri qualify.
I agree. Yeah. You win this, even if you win this match 1-0, even if it's a 1-0, you keep Haaland goalless and you score a goal and you win this match convincingly 1-0. I'm happy with that, because the thing is, like you said, I think DiMarco actually said it, this is a tune-up match for qualification, which obviously they know that they're not winning 9-0. I think that's a good mentality. You want to win this match convincingly, and you want to shift that momentum into the playoff.
Yep, absolutely. We are going to pull up the projected lineup that the Azzurri are expected to go into this. First up, we're going to get to Storm the Barn. We'll have some time for a few Storm the Barns. Something that bothered me before. We got to get into this, okay? Young kids nowadays. Cliff, you'll probably be in the young guy stage.
Still.
Your favorite Juve player, and these young guys, one vote for Del Piero. One vote.
Wait, that's the amount of votes?
One vote for Del Piero. The young kids, if there's one thing that us veterans can do, please let these kids experience Del Piero, okay? Let them watch the clips. Let them watch the videos. Watch old archive games and stuff. My goodness. One vote for Alessandro. These new kids nowadays. My Madonna mia.
Let me give these kids a piece of advice. Go to Colo's page and look up Del Piero highlights. And look at those highlights, and you'll see why he was the man.
Yeah, come on. Now, speaking of the Azzurri, this is the projected setup and lineup for this game against Norway today. So 3-5-2. One thing that Gattuso, I think I will say, has gotten right is the two striker set. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to get to the midfield. Locatelli in there. Fratesi, Barella. Tonali problems.
Yeah.
Some issues there. Donnarumma, Di Lorenzo, Mancini, Bastoni. My goodness, man. Di Lorenzo.
I hate him as a center back.
Mancini in the... Ay. Politano, there's your boy. Cliff, what do you think about this lineup?
The three players I would take out, Politano, Di Lorenzo, and Fratesi, but we don't have the players to fill in. I would put Tonali in when he's healthy. I would honestly, you know who I'd put in? I'd put Berardi over Politano at right, and I would put Buongiorno at right center back. I don't know if he's healthy, but I like Buongiorno better than Di Lorenzo as a straight up center back. Mancini, everybody can have their gripes about him. He's fairly consistent for the Azzurri, and he brings this attitude that I feel like we need. So I would say off the bat, the only thing that really Cristiano Pio Esposito Messi.
Dude, that guy got so much hype and everything. I will say that. I actually agree with making the call to start him against Norway because of his size.
Yeah.
Esposito's actually a big guy, big kid. Should help. Two striker setup is a must. The midfield, that's probably the best midfield you're going to get right now based on the guys available. At the back, Calafiori obviously missing, and because of physical condition, there's an issue. This guy can only play 1-2 games, and then he's hurt for 5. That's a thing.
Yeah.
The Azzurri's issue is they don't have a stalwart at the heart of the back line.
Yeah.
That's an issue. That's a sore spot, and it's kind of always going to be there. They don't have that rock. They don't have that, and that's a big problem.
Bastoni's easily your best center back, I think. But he's not in the center. He's not your central, defender. You need that guy who's
the same guy for me. And that's why the Azzurri have problems making the best back line because they don't have that guy right at the heart, that stalwart. They're lacking that right now. It sure as hell isn't Mancini. I'll tell you that.
No, I would
Credit
take
for the goal
Buongiorno.
scored against
Yeah.
Malva there. Okay. Malva for the Seinfeld fans. Obviously it was Moldova, but Malva. Credit for the goal there, but Mancini just ain't it. And
Yeah.
him and Di Lorenzo scares the hell out of me today against Norway.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Do you know if Buongiorno is healthy? Because I prefer him over Mancini, to be honest.
That is another player that is constantly having little issues here and there.
Yeah.
Like always. He's just one of them. Buongiorno, he hasn't been fit for a good, healthy run at Napoli since he's joined them.
Buongiorno, more like Buonanotte because he's always asleep. He's never available.
Buonanotte. Yeah. Buonanotte. We should look for his cousin Buonanotte. It might be better for the Azzurri. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. If I'm going to put you on the spot, if that is, in fact, the lineup we go through, give me a prediction for this game before we get to some storm in the barn as we close out here.
Again, my gut could very well be wrong, but I'm going to go 2-1. Or, no, I'm sorry, no. 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0.
Wow.
I'm going to go another 2-0. I think somehow, some way, we pull it off.
Okay. I definitely don't believe we're going to see a clean sheet.
Yeah, probably
not when Di Lorenzo and Mancini are involved. That back three. Norway's going to get one. They might get two. I feel pretty confident we can hurt them as well, though, going back the opposite way. I need the Azzurri to win to really feel super confident, but I have a feeling this game could end up in a draw, like maybe a 2-2. But I'll give the Azzurri the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say 2-1. I'm going to say we get a 2-1 victory today, be a completely different showing than we saw against Norway the first time around. And maybe, just maybe, Norway knows where everything stands, and they might not be so gung-ho. We'll see.
Yeah.
3-2 from Swarit over Norway.
Yeah.
Okay. And Forza Juve, Eric Cohen with the 9-0. Hey! Automatic qualification. Let's
Actually,
go, baby.
you know what? I'm going to change it. I think we come just short of qualification, 8-0. That's what I think.
There you go.
Oh, yeah,
imagine you get 8 and it's just like, yeah, you're still going to a playoff. Wouldn't that be something? Now,
that'd be crazy.
Storm the barn, everybody. Fire away your Storm the barn. We already have some that came in earlier that we were going to get to. Let's have some fun. This has been a great session. Reminder, everybody, get those likes up. And everybody that's tuning in on X, not everything that we stream here is going to be multi-streamed, okay, with a lot of shows, pre-game, hype shows, the daily news on Juve, everything. Make sure you head over to YouTube and subscribe. And that's how you get for the kick giveaways.
I want more of these.
You got to be subscribed to get the kick giveaways. Let's go. We got one every month.
I want more multi-streams, Al. That's what I want. I want more multi-streams. This is fun.
We are going to do more multi-streams, but not all of them are on there. They got to get over to YouTube. Let's go.
Yeah, this is true. You guys got to subscribe.
What kind of impact will Vitinha have when we sign him in the summer for 130 million? Oh my God. Is that the wildest rumor we heard this week?
I would honestly, do you know how quick I would get a Vitinha kit if Vitinha signed for Juve? He is such a phenomenal magician on the ball. He would be, everybody talks about, I want to bring back Verratti. Give me Vitinha. Give me Vitinha. He is the new Verratti. He is the guy.
Vitinha is so good, but I had to laugh when it was just like, oh yeah, one of the teams is 130 million. What?
No shot.
Jeez. We don't even price Yildiz at 100 million. We'd probably sell him for 80, knowing Juve. For God's sakes. Yeah, that's one of easily the silliest rumor of this past week. I didn't even address it on any of our news shows because what's the point? It was absolutely crazy. We got one coming in here from Forza. Would you take back Rovella?
Yes.
I would.
Yeah, I would in a heartbeat.
But he would still end up being a backup to Loca. So is there a point there in doing that?
Would you
Maybe
play him as
because
just
he'd be
like
the best one on the team to do it.
would you play him at an 8 instead of a 6?
No, I
No?
wouldn't.
Okay.
I see him as that. I never wanted us to get rid of him in the first place. I'll be quite
Yeah,
honest.
same.
But hey, it is what it is. But I always saw him being able to play that role and never Miretti. That's what strikes me about this move that
Yeah.
everyone's talking about, Miretti there. I'm like, I just don't see it. I think he
Yeah.
needs to be higher up the pitch. But Sikoko, fully fit team. Would you play Cope Miners as a center back in a 4-man
No,
back?
no, 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 no. Get that question out of here. That's a ridiculous question. I'm sorry, Coco. That's absurd.
I I'm thinking about it, man. I really am.
No, no, Al, don't get brainwashed by Coop, please.
Dude, Lloyd Kelly ain't it. I don't understand in a back four. We're talking about a back four now. In a 3-man back, Lloyd Kelly can get you by as a left center back. Cole Miners, we've only seen him there as a. If I'm, I honestly, I don't have faith in either one of them. So it's like a pick your poison thing for me. He's still a way better player on the ball than Lloyd Kelly. And he's left-footed. And the amount of errors that come from all the other guys. Bremer's always going to be Bremer. Bremer's always going to be in that. If Bremer's back, I'm not thinking about Cope Miners in a back four. I would probably go with Gatti next to him because they were good last year in a back four.
That's what I'm saying. If everybody's healthy, it's a no-brainer.
With Bremer out, would you play Cope? Maybe. I'm a maybe.
But that wasn't the question, Al. It was if this team is fully fit, who are you playing?
Oh, yeah, fully fit.
It said fully fit.
Probably not. Probably not. Fully fit.
I had to call you out on that.
Paying attention to the details there. Fully fit. But I tell you what.
I see where you're coming from.
If Gatti still ends up with the same amount of errors and he can't find the back four Gatti with Bremer last season, at the beginning of last season, then yes, I would. I would switch to it.
Okay.
Tough call.
You scared me for a second.
Dick Laurent, what do you think about Gattuso's comments about qualifying? Did you see those mutts on ESPN mocking him and calling him xenophobic for his comments? Wow, I didn't see it. Okay, I'll be quite honest, everybody. I never watch ESPN for football coverage. I think it's garbage. I'll be straight up. Of any of the broadcasts, of anyone that you could watch, I would never give ESPN the time of day. I think they're brutal. Brutal coverage. Like shit. Garbage. Absolutely garbage. I would never give them the time of day for football. So I did not see them mocking him. However, I did see a ton of social media outlets clipping Gattuso and inserting way more direct and stronger quotes than what he actually said. And not putting up what he actually said. But it's everything that all of us have been saying. Europe has the stronger sides. The qualification process isn't necessarily the most balanced or correct right now, I think. And when you have teams winning their groups with point totals that are far less, and you have playoff teams in contention that haven't won a game in their qualifying round and they're going to be in a playoff, that's garbage. So something needs to be better and corrected. I have no problem in Gattuso saying it. I don't think he was too strong. Cliff, did you have any issues with what he was saying?
No, obviously I kind of saw in the social sphere kind of the words that were being said, and obviously I didn't see his direct quote, so I can't fully speak to it, but from the context that I got and knowing the type of person that Gattuso is, I don't have a problem with what he said. As always, people take what they see and they try to spin it on social to meet their own prerogatives. I think it's true that traditionally Europe has larger, more quality teams than Africa. And like we said, the process is flawed. That doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a lot of really talented African teams making the World Cup. That is not what Gattuso is saying. Of course, we'd love to see Senegal, Nigeria, some of these really traditionally great African teams in the World Cup, they produce phenomenal talent. We want to see that. Gattuso is not saying he doesn't want to see African teams in the World Cup. That's
Yeah.
not what he's saying. He's saying that he wants to see a better process in Europe. That's his point. He was just using Africa as an example. He could have picked any other continent to speak about, but that was the first one that popped to his head. And
Yeah.
he's just talking about the issues that are at hand in Europe. He's not speaking down to Africa's talent.
Yeah. It's
I think we
if
all
you
got to chill out. I
if you're
think we got to
looking
chill
at the
out.
if and again, what is the point? Well, the FIFA rankings have always been shoddy anyways, how they
Hmm.
calculate that and put the but at some point you have to look at the number of sides that are strong that are in Europe, and you can't apply something so strict, I think, when you're dealing with the highest coefficient probably per continent, period. It's got to be something
Yeah.
that's a little bit more balanced. And you have to also, like, at the end of the day, it's a World Cup tournament. People want to see the best sides in the World Cup. They don't want to see a team that's going to show up there and get spanked. Like,
Hmm.
you want to see the best of the best. You want the draws. You want the teams that have the best players. It it's one of those things right now where there's a lot of factors right now that the European qualification process, it's pretty rough. But you know what? It's something that we have to deal with, and it's always kind of been that way too. It's always been harder. Um, Portugal seems to leave it up to the last second
Hmm.
every qualification process, whether it's Euros or World Cup, like it's like they just always, it's always difficult. It's always difficult.
Hmm.
Think about the tournaments themselves. I've always said this, and it kind of shines a light on the qualification process. I've always said the Euros is way harder to win than the World Cup.
Hmm. I agree.
And it's
There's more of a
exactly for that
concentration.
reason.
Yeah.
You can face sides in a World Cup in a knockout round that you go in with solid confidence. You're going to beat them and you're going to move on.
Yeah.
You don't get
Yeah.
that benefit in the Euros. You don't.
Yeah.
Every knockout's fucking deadly.
In the Euros, just for example, you could end up going 3 rounds playing Norway, Spain, and Germany. It could end up going like that. You could be playing like Norway, which is a respectable team, and then playing two absolute powerhouses in a row.
Yeah, it's just it's a whole different ballgame. It's so I have no problem with him just kind of stating what everybody has thought and felt for a long time. You know,
Hmm.
it's just
Hmm.
the way it is. Different nations, experts at producing different positions. Spain and their midfielders, France and their attackers, historically, Italy and defenders. What has happened to the Italian center? Oh my goodness. I wish I knew what has happened to
Great question.
but Jesus, even then, Italy had fantastic midfielder, a fantastic attack and talent, man.
Hmm.
God, we go from the days like Del Piero, Totti, Vieri. Like, where are these fucking guys, man? Like, but you go to the back line. My God, man. I'll tell you what, if there's one thing you want to talk about modern game, okay? So just like I said, the game hasn't changed. There's way too many coaches implementing shit that has hybrid roles.
Yeah.
And I think it's fucking up players from becoming specialists. I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening with Italy, but look at our back line. You have no true center backs. Mancini would be a true center back. He is not quality. Your best players are your hybrid players. There's too many systems nowadays. And if anybody wants to say modern, I would say it's, if you're going to call some modern, it's all this hybrid shit. And I personally hate it. And I think it overcomplicates things. And I've said it for Juve now for a while. I said, Spalletti, just go to something simple. Get rid of
Hmm.
anything that's hybrid and just get these guys in roles. Keep it simple and just move from there. But I think part of it is all this hybrid garbage that a lot of coaches nowadays want to implement. Fucking anybody that's seen as a modern coach, it's really just because it's hybrid shit that they work in their system. Thiago Motta was a prime example. 2-7-2, fuck 2-7-2. It was a 4-2-3-1, but he had hybrid shit working from the flanks, from the outside. That's all I could say is different. Just way too much shit that's overcomplicating something that's way, way more simple. What do you think?
I agree. I miss the days when somebody makes a great slide tackle and gets excited like he scored a goal. I want to see more of that. That's the one reason I do like Mancini. He does strike me as like a throwback type of center back. Obviously, he's not top quality like a Chiellini was back in the day. But I think if he could step his game up and you had a healthy Buongiorno, I do think you could play with a backline of Bastoni being almost like your Bonucci type, who's the distributing type center back. You have Mancini, who's like that gritty, hard-nosed guy who's going to put in a tough challenge, and then the level-headed, solid center back in a Buongiorno. I think you could work with that. Obviously, there's levels. It's not the Chiellini, Bonucci, Barzagli backline that we used to have, but it can do a job. But like you said, like the way that modern football is played, I'm going to pull out something that sounds very Skanga-like. There's 2 goals.
Easy.
And there's a ball. There's 2 nets and a ball. There's 2 nets and a ball. The game is not changed. Hopefully Skanga will like that. But I think we need to kind of get back to the old way of playing. We need to play simple. We need to play passionately, hard-nosed. And you need to develop that talent. I think the way that Serie A is currently set up, they're not fostering that talent. They're just building them up and then sending them away and not letting them continue to develop and mature in their own league.
Cugino, right now, the best bone-crunching tackle we saw from an Italian was Bonucci on that woman in a charity game. That's not even a lie. Not even a lie there. That was gold.
That's true.
Scalvini hasn't really, since he's come back from the injury, he's been kind of like a no-show for the Azzurri and not getting in there, and the form just isn't to where it was before. So, Scalvini's just kind of one of those where everybody's monitoring after that injury. But there's another hybrid player too, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be quite honest. I mean, for lack of better terms or whatnot, I mean, I think a lot of these...
Watch it, Al. Be careful. What are you going to say?
I got to be politically correct here, but I'm just going to say it. The younger generation, I think you guys are a little soft.
No.
I think you're a little soft, Cliff.
Okay. If you want to say they're soft, that's fine. I respect that.
I think the younger age coming in is a little bit softer. I think they're a little bit more caught on flash, whereas the old schoolers love that hard nose, that Chiellini style, that like let's go hammer him up. Where the youngers want, I want the passing, I want the ball playing center back. I want my center back to have an ugly face, probably a big crooked nose, and be able to go through absolutely anybody on the other team. All right.
I want a guy whose nose is facing the opposite direction.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Let's go. I used to love that about Torricelli. I always said, that guy's got nothing to lose. With a face like that, that guy would go in on everybody. Like, you're gonna have to kill yourself to get by this guy. He's got nothing to lose. That's kind of where we're at. I'm in the younger. Hey, thank you, Mitch. Thank you.
Yeah, Al is secretly 35. He uses a lot of moisturizer.
My goodness, younger generation.
You know who I do like though?
Not considered the younger generation, but I like the lighting is fantastic. Let's just say that, okay? The lighting's fantastic. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. Italy win today, 9-1. Norway 9. Oh my God, Jesus, Gio.
Heartbreaking.
What is? See, this is a combination of what Juve and the Azzurri have done to people nowadays, and it's just we almost. We could believe in the most ultimate pain. Like you could believe in the most ultimate pain. That would be absolutely insane if something like that happened. I don't even know what I would do for real. I would just you'd have to laugh. It's so insane. Yeah. Mitch, if Austria loses Tuesday to Dzeko and Italy plays us, I invite you over to Vienna. All drinks on me. Italy, Austria would be a nice showdown. Okay, all right. So Mitch is going to take care of my accommodations, flight over, and all beverages. Mitch, you're on. You're on.
What about me? Can I come too?
I didn't see anything about accommodations and flights and everything like that, but I'm just gonna assume that that's in the agreement. Thank you, Mitch. We're on. Thoughts
Okay.
on Coyote, Berto and Cliff. Cliff, thoughts on Coyote?
Fine. He's fine. He's good. He's a good solid player. I mean, from what I've seen of him, he's nothing special. He's fine. Um, like I don't know what that's in reference to if we want it for the Azzurri. I mean, no. I still think Di Lorenzo is good enough to do a job if he's literally told like you're gonna be a right back and not told like you said, like not playing a hybrid role, just tell him you're gonna be our right back and that's your position. He's fine there still. Um, yeah, that's just kind of my opinion. Also, want to know Diego Coppola in Premier League? I really like him. I think he still has a shot to become a really good player.
I gotta say, he's caught me a bit by surprise in the Prem because I thought it was gonna be really, really rough and really,
Yeah.
really bad. But he's been okay. He's been okay. He's definitely gotta keep tabs on Coppola there. He was never
Mhm.
my top pick out of the guys we were linked with when there was
Yeah.
Leone. Obviously, Leone sucks with the injury that
Yeah.
happened to him in a
Yeah.
great start too. He was
Hmm.
balling out that game, and then fucking boom. It's the way she
Yeah.
goes sometimes. But I never had Coppola amongst the top in with him, Leone, and there was another young Italian defender. I was trying to think. His name eludes me
Not
right now. But
Okoli, right?
who?
Okoli? Not Okoli, right?
No, no. I
Okay.
can't. It's not coming to me right now. Again, this is why I'm not in the younger generation, Mitch. My memory. So when we get to Coppola, yeah, it's one to watch. But right now, the Azzurri most likely heading to playoff. For Juve, how are we going to come out of this international break? Are we, in fact, going to see a change under Spalletti? It was not Camuzzo. Maybe Camuzzo. Might have been Camuzzo, Michael
Might have been
G.
Camuso,
And Camuzzo's having a horrible season, by the way. Very, very bad season. Del
yeah.
Prato.
Yeah.
This name, ever since that match against us, where he got
Yeah.
man of the match against Juve, got a team of the week in FC 25 at the time, whatever. I've been keeping eyes on this guy. He's decent. He's decent,
Yeah.
but like, God, he seems so small. I can't help but feel like he's 14 years old when I watch him. Like, I need a little bit. I need him to bulk up. People say Miretti needs to eat some panini. Del Prado, buddy, might have to get back to the familia there with the homemade meals there and bulk up a bit. Tell Nonna you gotta bulk up a
Yeah,
bit.
fly Nonna out.
Yeah,
Let's fly Nonna out. Get some meals.
God. But Del Prato's interesting player to watch. He's decent. He's decent
Hmm.
for sure. Well, if you had to put money on it, we're gonna close out, and everybody in the chat, yes or no, you can elaborate, of course, Cliff. Do you believe it is true, and we will see a four-man backline and a change of setup from Spalletti coming out of the international break?
Yeah, I
You
see
do.
it. I see it happening.
And do you believe Miretti will be the director in the midfield?
Yes. Yes, I do think he'll be that director. Thuram will be the box to box, and Locatelli will be the sitting playmaker, the deep lying playmaker in that team.
I'm on the fence on whether or not we actually see the change. And I feel like he's got a few decent things going his way, Spalletti, in the fact that he's actually got Coat Miners resembling a football player that the previous guys couldn't do. A 4-3-3 complicates that, takes away from that, and you're still skinny at the back line. But a four-man makes it easier. I'm going to say yes, we see a different setup. It will be four-man backline, but I'm going to say you will not see Miretti as the director, but you will see him in the midfield. That's what I'm going to go. Hey, time will tell. I'm looking forward to us getting back to action. But of course, for today, let's see what the international duty has for us. And for the Azzurri fans, enjoy the game. All right? We will reconvene. I'll keep you up to date in the news in the build-up to Juve's next match, which will be Fiorentina. And by the way, Vlahovic, not just the contract news, but physical issues. Had to leave the international side. We've heard mixed things. Muscle fatigue, minor. He'll be okay and be available. But remember he had a back issue and still got called and still went to international duty? We also had Jagrova. Hasn't been fully fit for us. He went to international duty. Let's see when everything comes back. But the young lad, Kenan Yildiz, balled out yesterday if you watch Kenan. Balled the fuck out. And can we just get the contract done? Comolli, talk the talk. Time to walk the walk. Show this guy you care, okay? And we don't want him to be plucked away by another side. Cliff, great stuff, man. A lot of fun, as always, okay? Got a nice kit behind you. The last kit Del Piero rocked for Juve, by the way. And the chat, you guys always rock. The AJC Army, second
Always
to none.
bringing the energy.
We love you,
Always
all right?
bringing that energy.
And
Let's
for
go.
our friends on the multi-stream from X, reminder, if you want a shot at winning one of the kits, we got kit giveaways every month. Head over to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Army, enjoy your weekend. What's left of it. We'll talk to you all real soon. As always, fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. And Azzurri, Forza Azzurri. Let's go. Let's go. Don't leave it just short with 8 goals. Get that 9th. And Mancini for the clean sheet. Let's see what the game has in store for us. Ciao tutti.